Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the No Cover TV podcast. We have three people in the house. They are from Altamatum, out of Thunder Bay, Canada. Oh, yeah, we got some stuff to talk about with these gentlemen right here. But first of all, thank you for checking out the No Cover TV podcast. We're worldwide. Check out the past shows, check out the future shows, and today's show. A lot of great musicians, artists coming on from all over the world. It's amazing, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Use my three favorite words. Support, support, support. Support these artists. Go to the shows, pay the cover charge. Then you get to the swag table, get yourself a hoodie, a t-shirt, a bumper sticker, CD, album, whatever they got to get to the stage and have a good time. Forget about your crappy day. Then after the show, meet these artists. Get an autograph. You just never know. The artist loves doing what they're doing to put a smile on your face, and in return, you're putting a smile on their face. So let's get right into it, guys. You ready for this?
Yeah, absolutely.
They just don't know what they're in for right now, guys. No, Altamatum out of Canada. Now, Thunder Bay sounds like a little bit of a small town, is it?
Yeah, it's about 110,000.
That's pretty small.
We feel smaller, I think, than we are because we're a bit isolated. We're just on the top of Lake Superior in Ontario.
Okay. Oh, yeah, you're right there. Oh, okay, great.
We're close to the border, actually. We're only about 45 minutes away, but east and west, we have to drive about 8 hours to hit any other kind of larger city. So
okay, well, I'm listening to your music, loving what I'm hearing. You guys are tearing it up. What the hell's going on over there in Canada? Oh my, ears are bleeding.
Underrated. Hey, underrated. Don't sleep on the Canadians. They know how to play up here.
Yeah, guys. Wow. So let me go back a little bit. Now, when did you start this project? 2010?
Yeah, I guess so. It was Brendan and I actually originally.
Earlier than that.
Was it earlier, James?
Yeah, 06.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
06, really? Now, you guys must have known each other for a long time.
Yeah, but it was back to high school on that one. So we're, I don't even want to start doing the math on that yet. But we would have probably met in high school around 2005, 2006. And
okay.
Then, got together and started out little basement jam sessions, the three of us, and been together ever since.
That's great. Now, when you got together back then, how long did it take till you got out and started playing?
Not very long.
Not very long.
It was almost. Initially, I think we were a little slower to start. Like Brendan and I initially started just drums and guitar. And then
right.
James joined shortly thereafter. It was just maybe a year, not even a year after.
Okay.
And we do, I guess what a lot of bands do when they're starting out is learn a lot of covers, right? So that was kind of our biggest thing, was trying to figure out who we align on musically and figure out who those artists were. And then, in the early days, that's what our shows consisted of. It was a lot of cover stuff.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, not at all. But it didn't take us long to kind of, through that process, carve out a sound. It's very different from the sound we have today, but it's, growing stages, right? So it's, So we started playing, I think, shows around grade 11.
Okay, wow.
We were playing, we played a fundraiser at our high school, and then we ended up playing a lot of other local kind of clubs and bars in the city. And that's what it was. It was a lot of cover stuff, but shortly thereafter we got into the original material.
All right, great, good deal. So I'm listening, and we got metal, rock, little punk, I think, added to it. So it's great, man. Now I gotta talk to you guys here. Let's see here, Brendan, you haven't said anything yet. So I'm gonna talk to you first. You're the drummer. Yeah,
I'm the drummer.
Mm-hmm. You got anger issues?
No.
You beat the hell out of them drums, brother. Great. I love it.
All the time. It's a big passion of mine, sure.
Yeah. Did you start up what age did you grab the sticks?
I think I was about 10 years old when I started playing. My dad influence on me. He had an old set, and I just set it up and started playing one day, and it just carried on into what it is today.
Beautiful, beautiful. And then Cam, you're on guitar.
Yes.
Yeah, you're tearing it up too with them leads and stuff. My God, what are you playing?
I switch between guitars, but primarily an LTD. It's like a white kind of Les Paul shape.
Oh
With
yeah,
the ESP.
definitely beautiful.
Yeah, ESP
Beautiful
pickup.
guitar.
And I bought it
Beautiful.
with the intent of recording, because we're fortunate in here. We have Thunder Sound Studio. So we have a fifth member of the group who's kind of behind the scenes. It's Russ Elder is his name, and it's James's uncle actually. And yeah, so his bass, we're incredibly fortunate to have him, because he's the one who makes us sound the way we do. So he's responsible, good and bad. No, it's all good. But yeah, we that was kind of the initial kind of purchase for that guitar, was trying to come up with a signature sound. Russ and I worked very, very hard on that, as well as he did with James and Brendan. Like all of us, we kind of have our own signature sound that,
Nice.
He's just as responsible, if not more responsible than we are for the way that we sound in a really positive way. So.
Well, good deal. And James, you're on the bass, thumping the hell out. Now, James, there's three styles of playing. You can slap it, pick it, or strum it. You doing all that, or just sticking to one of them?
Mostly picking, or finger work. Get the pick in there from time to time if the song calls for it. Not much of a slapper. Never really. Not something I really explored too deeply. It's fun to mess around with from time to time, but.
Exactly.
Not quite the fit for the genre, I don't think.
All right, good deal, my friends. Good deal. So now, how many singles have we put out in all these years?
You know what, Al? That's a good question. We missed the bandwagon on that. We're very much like an album band.
All right,
so,
that's not a problem with that.
No, and still are, but it wasn't until maybe. We put out singles probably starting in 2017, when we were releasing an EP, it was between our second album, Levels, and our third full length album, A Monument to Time. And we decided we just got signed with our label in Reading, Pennsylvania, actually, from the Depths Entertainment. And so we just all of a at that time you needed label support to be able to access TuneCore.
Right.
So we had some songs brewing, and we were excited about the opportunity. So we released singles, and then we were bad at kind of just dropping albums out of nowhere after that point on, just like full like albums, here you go, right? Which is good, I think, but we weren't as strategic, I guess, in terms of sharing singles to help promote the album up until maybe like we stopped doing that up until the last full length album, In My Blood, where we ended up releasing 4 singles from that album prior to releasing the album.
Okay, nice.
And then this last project being kind of an interesting project, where we had 4 different local singers come in and sing, select their own cover songs.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's always something we wanted to do. Yeah. So we actually finally got the opportunity to do this, and 4 phenomenal vocalists that came in, and it was cool too, because they picked cover songs that we wouldn't typically play, right? So we got to kind of siphon it through our own creative process and come up with something pretty unique that we actually it's dropped on all platforms yesterday. So it's very new for us too.
That's great. Now, A Criminal Mind's new. That's the one you're talking about?
That's part of it. Yeah.
That just blows me away, man. That's a great song. And who's doing most of the writing here? Does somebody do the writing, bring it to the rest of you, or you all, bring it together as one? How's that work? Your writing?
A bit of a collaboration. Musically, I'll say that one of Cam or Brendan will come up with some sort of foundation, and kind of lay out instrumentally the base of a song, and then we'll all kind of put our own spin on it, and it builds and builds and builds, and then we kind of end up with a finished piece, and then it comes down to just figuring out how we want to lay vocals on top of that, and
Sure.
and lyrics, and again it is very much a collaborative process. There's a lot of heavy lifting from Cam and Brendan at the beginning, but by the end it's definitely a band collaboration.
Great. Before I get any farther, one of you tell everybody in podcast land where they can find your music and your bio and all that stuff.
Yeah. The best way to get a hold of us is probably through Instagram. Just it's ALTAMADUM in Instagram and any platform really. I'm the one who's usually responsible for Instagram, James's Twitter, and Brendan's Facebook. So we're pretty quick to respond, I think, in all of those mediums. But we also have a website, altamatum.com, and our music's available on all streaming platforms. And even if you just Google it, if as long as it's spelled correctly, you can find it.
Right.
You can see a bunch of stuff there as well.
Good deal, my friends. Good deal. Now, I got to point this out, guys. You're a heavy band. You're a rock band. And this question is for Cam, okay? Because, no, this isn't for Cam. This one's for James, okay? Now, usually my bass players, my drummers, I got to separate them. These guys are crazy. Now, James, tell me, who's the crazy one here, Cam or Brendan, when they get out of control?
When they get out of control? Mm-hmm. Ooh. I think once they've lost control, I think Cam tends to be a little bit more crazy. You never know what he's going to pull on stage. 1 minute you look over and he's just kind of hanging back, having a good time, nodding his head, and the next he's got his guitar up over his head and 1 foot over the crowd, and it gets a little intense. But I'll say it doesn't come out. The craziness doesn't come out maybe as often as Brendan's. Brendan has a tendency to get out of control a little more frequently. So you got to put those two on a leash from time to time for sure.
Yeah, I hear you. Brendan, you throwing sticks? Yeah. Come on.
Sometimes.
That was my problem. My drummer gets smacked every set. It's like, son of a bitch. Yeah. Now, Cam, you're the guitar player and stuff. You throwing the guitar and doing the swing?
Not so much the swing. We've learned from other artists we've played with. We've seen some pretty big horror stories where the guitar's gone flying, and landing on the other band's equipment, right? Yeah. So I pretty much everything else though. It all depends on the I think it all depends on the mood of the audience, right? Like I'm very much that kind of performer where, regardless of what it is we're doing, if it's performing or public speaking or whatever it is, I usually feed off of, the energy of the audience. It's very contagious, right? So it's never a preconceived planned thing, right? It's like, we'll see how this goes, as long as I kind of know the material well enough to get through it, right? So
right.
And then everything else is just kind of spontaneous, which makes I think that's what makes live performances so exciting though, right?
Yeah.
Anything can happen.
It's real. Yeah, you don't know what's going to happen. You never know what's going to happen. Now, are you guys playing out quite a bit right now?
It's been quite a while, I think, since our last performance. Obviously, going through the pandemic put a halt to everything, and then I think there was such a backlog of artists just missing it, having that desire to perform live again, that all the local places filled up really quick. Our focus was more about getting together again in the studio. Getting some stuff recorded that we'd been sitting on. So we kind of jumped right back into that world. Show-wise, I guess it's been about a year now, I suppose. I'm trying to think back to the last time we played, just before Christmas, I guess, eh? That's less than a year.
Right. Now, have you guys played any festivals or more smaller venues?
We played a lot of kind of everything. We've been hired to play parties. We played the Marina, which is kind of like by Lake Superior on Canada Day a couple years.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So we've done the outdoor thing. We've played a few different like street fairs and stuff like that too, and like I'd like to get back into that actually. Is playing those kind of venues. I like the clubs and the bars because it's an intimate surrounding, right? Where it's like you feel like you're kind of one with the audience. Where if you're playing outside, there's that disconnect sometimes depending on how the setup is. So
yeah,
always a lot of when you're out there.
Right.
Yeah.
I was going to ask, do you like the smaller venues where the people are on top of you, or do you like it where you're on a bigger stage and they're a little farther out?
Depends on the people.
Yeah, I guess so, right? Definitely, my friends. Now, what studio are you using? What studio was this name of the studio again?
It's called Thunder Sound.
Thunder Sound, okay. And that's where you're doing all your work pretty much in that studio?
That's right. Yeah. Yeah,
Oh.
and we're very lucky. Like I said, Russ, he's a part of this, right? So he doesn't really take on other artists outside of us, which is so we're incredibly fortunate for many reasons. Because one is we get to if we have ideas, especially when we're in the studio writing, we get to capture those ideas kind of real time.
Okay.
Yeah, so we don't forget, right? And then
Yeah.
also to compare ourselves back to in kind of a live environment as well. He does that sometimes where we're just practicing for a set and he'll record the song and he'll play it back for us so we can kind of critique our own performances.
Sure, definitely.
But then the bulk of it is like intentional writing, like James was mentioning, right? Like we go into the studio, depending on the album, the writing process always changes. But Russ is, like I said, I can't say it enough. He's such an instrumental part of why we're doing what we're doing right now in the way we're doing it. So.
Oh, that's cool. To have a good producer behind you and stuff and good people like that, that really helps the sound and gets you sound the way you want to sound.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
100%.
Now, I got to ask, does he have any analog equipment in that studio? Did you tap into that at all?
So funny story with Russ and his studio, he's had the opposite career arc that we've had where he loved it. He wanted to do the music thing when he was really young, and then life happened, started a family, and then it was upon retirement that he started dusting off all the old recording equipment. So he's got all this stuff from the 70s, and he's gone out and he's updated. He's bought some more modern equipment. So there's definitely a combination of the old and the new down there that we get to play with and get to hear a little bit of maybe how it would have been back in the day, put a little bit of modern spin on it, and it's a very unique sound.
Yeah, I miss playing out over the tube amps, and of course you always pick up a radio station or something when you're not playing or something. What radio is that station playing again? But yeah, you get that nice warm sound and grunge sound when you use a tube. I love it. It's a warm feeling and stuff like that. Now, do you guys plan on doing any tri-state touring? Or I mean, you're not in the States, but I'm just saying, around the different cities around you, in 100 miles, say.
100 miles.
Let's go 200 miles. Yeah. I have no idea where the hell you are.
Yeah. The last time we did any touring, we had to drive 17 hours before our first venue.
Where the hell was that?
Ottawa.
That's a ways.
That's a ways.
Wow. Was it worth it?
It was fantastic. It was
great.
Something we're going to hang on to for a long, long time. I think the States has always been kind of a temptation because it is like the border is so close. Yeah. It's right there. I think once you get across, you can probably knock off a few cities in a row that are, worth stopping in at. And it's just, there's a bit of red tape going across the border on our end, and it has to make sense. We're certainly not opposed to it. I don't think it's just
good
the timing and whatever else has to go into it.
I remember trying to cross the Canadian border, stopped me every damn time. But that's when I had long hair back in the time. So I was a drug runner or whatever. Now, From the Depths Entertainment, they're your label.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. When did you hook up with them?
Would have been, I think it was just after. Sorry, go ahead, Brendan.
2014.
14, really? Okay, great. Now, are they taking care of PR management, label distribution, or what's going on?
Well, they do take care of all that for us. If we wanted to utilize it, we could. Right now, we're not really utilizing it at the moment.
Sure. Okay, good. Well, at least it's there for you if you need it. Good.
Yeah.
Definitely. That's great. So I'm going to ask you guys some fun questions here. I'm going to pick.
Sounds like a loaded statement.
Yeah.
I'm putting you on the spot here, guys. And I don't know which one. I'm going to hit this one first because I know it had to happen amongst one of you. This happens to my metal bands and rock bands. Most embarrassing moment on stage. Each one of you had one. I know it. What is it?
I'll start. Go back to throwing the drumsticks. Yeah, so I threw a drumstick and ricocheted off the ceiling and hit somebody right in the back of the head as they were turning away from the stage.
Ouch.
Yeah, I wasn't either. I was like, oh,
that's great. James, Cam?
I'm trying to. There was definitely there's was one show in particular we were playing. There was it was, I want to say, some sort of like tribute type of show where there's lots of bands kind of all out for the same cause, and because of that, there was like obviously a lot of teardown set up on a small stage. So there was a kind of an agreement amongst the bass players that, oh, we'll just use the same amp setup. And I got up there and I completely forgot to turn on something. And it was like, we're finishing the first song, we're getting into the second song, and I'm feeling good, but I didn't really notice that the audience couldn't hear anything going on. So I was completely oblivious to the whole thing.
I'm surprised the sound man didn't catch that.
Well, you know, in Thunder Bay, you get what you get some nights.
You get what you get.
Yeah.
I love it. All right, Cam, you're up.
Oh man, I'm sure James and Brendan would have better stories that I just don't remember right now. But I don't know, I've fallen off the stage a few times, I think, onto people. Yeah.
That's you.
Yeah,
Onto people.
Yeah, or just the basic, the patchwork comes unplugged, and you just like all of those, and that happens to you play enough shows that happens, or the battery in the pedal runs out, or or string breaks, right? So, but yeah, there was one night, and it was an older venue. It was called Kilroy's in Thunder Bay, and it was like a really good venue at the time. Like it was a larger venue, right? Like in terms of like a club setting, and they had a bigger stage. I was in my own world, I guess. And I had this big, I still have it, I just don't use it as frequently, but this big flying V guitar. But I think it's an LTD too, so it's got this really sharp, like, it's not like one of those curved Vs, right? It's like sharp edges, and the headstock had that too, or the head, it had that kind of point. So I was kind of, oblivious to my surroundings, I guess, and I was swinging my guitar around, and I ended up nicking the lead singer in the face with the point, and he started bleeding, right? And he's at the time, it was very like angry sounding vocals, right? We're just in the learning stage, right? We're at this point, we're just putting out sound, right? And so it looked pretty hardcore though, because he was like, fully committed to it and had his foot on the mic and he's screaming away, and and it's got blood coming down or whatever. And I didn't even know I got him. I looked, I turned away and I looked back, and next thing you know, he's got the microphone and he's bleeding on the monitor, and I'm like, whoa, like when did that happen, right? Not realizing I'm the cause of it. So yeah,
that's part of the show.
It's part of it, right? Yeah, exactly.
There you go. Just add that to the show.
We put Cam on the other side of the stage after that, moving forward.
You're in your own world over here, buddy.
Yeah, in my own little space.
That's great. Now, this new song, A Criminal Mind, I like that. Who came up with that, or did you come up with that? Who wrote the lyrics?
So that's a cover piece.
Yeah.
A Gowan original.
That's right.
So yeah, just again, like the last project we worked on there, brought in a bunch of different singers, and they all kind of came forth with a song in mind that they wanted to cover, and so that was brought to us. So again, as Cam mentioned, it's a bit outside the normal range of things we would do or consider. So it was a challenge. It was a lot of fun, and it was a very unique project where we got to try some things and step outside of our comfort zone.
That's great. And now the next song I'm digging, cover song, and I'm loving this, Run to the Hills. Iron Maiden. What the hell? That's great, guys. That is real good. How long have you been playing that?
Not even a year.
Not very long.
No.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah. Now, is there any other cover songs that you want to learn on your repertoire? Because I have one that I'd like you to learn. And it's off this album right here.
Oh yeah, which one?
Black Sabbath.
Yeah. By Black Sabbath.
Which one you cut out for a bit there?
War Pigs.
War Pigs.
Oh, War
nice. Nice.
That's a fun song to play.
Did we
That
ever
would
do
be a
that
great
back in
song.
the day?
What's that?
I think we might have covered that for like a day.
Yeah, we did Sweetleaf back in high school. I remember that one.
Yeah.
That was a fun one to play.
How about my go-to song when I play is Stranglehold by the Nuge.
Nice. It's a great song. Yeah.
The guys in the band hated me for doing that too.
Yeah. It's a long one.
Get out the Kramer and start playing. F you guys. So.
Nice. It's a great song. It's got good guitar parts. Yeah.
It is, guys. Now, let me give you another question here. You each get one answer. We're going to think all the way around the world, start thinking, what stage would you really want to perform on? Cam, you go first.
The Madison Square Garden might be cool. I've been there. Yeah, I've been there, but we haven't played there. But that would be cool, just because it's it's one of those or the Royal Albert Hall. I know that's
the Royal. Oh yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah. So I've been there as well, actually too. So yeah, one of those two places, just because they're iconic, iconic locations. So
definitely. How about you, Brandon?
I don't have any iconic stages that I'd like to perform on. I would just like to perform in an arena in a giant city somewhere. No place to go. Keep it simple.
There you go, James.
I got to give Canada some love. Let's go with Massey Hall, downtown Toronto.
Oh, okay. That'd be great, man. Give props to your home country. Definitely, my friends. Okay, I'm going to let each of you have one answer on this one, too. Any live or dead, anybody you really want to grace the stage with and perform with? Cam? Who would you really want to be next to on that stage or perform with?
Probably, if there's a lot that come to mind, probably if I had to pick one, it would probably be Jimmy Page.
He's a great, amazing guitar player. I got to see him. Oh, yeah. Brendan?
I would choose Neil Peart from Rush.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. James?
Well, now here's the challenging part, because I don't know, does anybody really want to go out and see multiple bass players on one stage?
Yeah.
That doesn't sound.
Yeah.
You know what? One of my favorite vocalists that I would love to see even just perform. I'll just stand off to the side and watch. Chris Cornell.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. That'd be awesome, man. Well, good. Now, in a whole, could you all agree on one band that you'd like to perform with?
Doubt it. I doubt it. I don't know. I think we all just come from such diverse. We all like similar artists, but I think we all also have our own unique flavor that we enjoy.
Yeah.
I don't know if we could decide on one.
Zeppelin, probably. I think.
Yeah.
I know that might not hit Brendan but I don't know. It's hard, right? Because I feel like I could connect with James and Brendan on a multitude of artists.
Okay.
But to get us all three of us to line up on one, I think it would have to be something like Zeppelin, where we were all at some point, I think, influenced by
one of them. Yeah.
That group,
That's
right?
Awesome. That's awesome.
I think we could all agree on Zeppelin.
I'll agree with that. Definitely, my friends. Now, this question here, I like to hear the answer on this one. All right, go in your heads here. You're getting on stage. You're getting geared up. You're ready to perform. You start performing. The audience starts hearing you. They start moving towards you. Maybe they're moshing. Maybe they're moving. Maybe they're even singing your songs to you. When you see that, how does it hit you in your heart and make you feel?
Excellent, because we're connecting with some people on a level, our music's relating to them. And if they like it, that's all that really matters, is making music so people can relate to it.
Mm-hmm. That's great. James?
It's a great feeling for sure. It gets you fired up in a way that it's hard to describe.
Yeah, it does.
You're going to go on stage. You're going to have a good time regardless. You're going to enjoy what it is you're doing, because it's something that you've done and prepared so long for. But as soon as you kind of have that switch flick and realize that the people around you are also just as jazzed to be there.
Yeah.
I'm not saying like, I don't think my demeanor changes necessarily. I'm going to go up there and give it the same no matter what. If the bar's got 2 people in it, or if there's 200 people in it, or, you know, whatever the case may be, I'm going to do the same regardless. But it does feel good. You notice it, you appreciate it.
Yeah.
And especially if there's an opportunity, you'd love to chat with those people afterwards. And
It's a great thing.
So
it's a good thing. Now on the Cam, we just lost him for a second. He might come back. But on the other end of that question, when you're done playing your set or 3 sets, you're done for the night, how long does it take you guys to wind down?
A long, probably it's like, depending on the show goes, I might stay up for an extra 3 hours afterwards.
Oh, really?
Yeah, good. It's happened at times.
Okay. You're with us, Cam.
Yeah, sorry, everyone just kind of froze and was doing the spinny wheel of death thing there. So
Did you hear what the question was? Did you hear the question?
Sorry.
All right. Well, they answered it. When
Okay.
when you get on stage and start playing, you see the crowd moving, maybe moshing, maybe singing your songs, and you see that. How's it hit you in your heart, Cam?
Oh, it's it's awesome. I love seeing, you know, our music move people, you know, physically and emotionally. I think that's why we write music, right? It's to connect with
cool.
people. So yeah.
That's a good deal, guys. So now a criminal minds stuff. You did some collaborations. Are you going to do more collaborations with other people with more songs?
I wouldn't rule it out. No, this was something that James and I actually, we've been talking about this idea for like forever, right? Because we're always writing original stuff. So anytime we're writing original material, anything aside from that would take the back burner, right? So we were always just having this hypothetical idea of like, what if we brought all of these different artists into the studio, because we have that at our disposal, you know, and just have them select different cover songs.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
then, you know, us just, so we and then we decided to go the vocalist route. So we decided to pull in a bunch of different singers, local singers, because like, you know, it was mentioned too, there is a thriving music scene happening here. And so we wanted to, you know, work with vocalists that we also really kind of admired, you know, either through word of mouth or through actually playing with some of these people. And then the challenge was then to, you know, have them bring a song or a couple of songs to the table, us learn those songs in our own Altamatum way, and then have them throw their flair in it, right? So it was really gratifying actually yesterday when it was released on all platforms, because like I said, we'd been kicking around this idea for a while. And it was the one thing that we just didn't do yet. Yeah, it felt like, right? Like we kind of did everything else that we discussed up until that point, but we've never done this idea that we had in the back burner. So I felt really gratified to look on, you know, wake up yesterday and look on Apple Music and see the album there. And it's like, wow, with all these different singers and stuff. So I wouldn't rule it out, like doing you know, future collaborations. Even we were even discussing, you know, pulling some of these vocalists that appeared on the album. And having them actually, you know, appear on, you know, the next original album, right? Like maybe draw from some of their strengths, right? Like you know, Skylar on A Criminal Mind, his vocal is a little more aggressive, right? So maybe pull him in on a bridge for an original song and, you know, have that aggressive vocal in there, right? We can kind of, you know, draw from their strengths now going forward, which is really cool.
That is cool. Now you mentioned radio. You'd be able to get on quite a few internet radio stations, getting some press release.
We've actually been on a lot. We've been on a lot of FM stations too, just doing like interviews and just airplay as well, right? Having the songs appear or us just being interviewed on radio as well, both internet and FM. So actually the first one we were on was actually in Scotland. It was an FM station through a DJ named RJ Bailey, and it was through the label. Actually, we were fortunate enough to do that. So we did you know, we've done other shows in Europe, and in the States as well. And yeah, that seems to be the bulk of where our demographic is.
That's awesome. So good deal. So let's see. All right, man. Well, we're getting out of time here, but I want to ask 5 years from now, where you see you guys, where you want to be?
As an entire band, or
Well, yeah. Yeah, as a entire band. Where do you want to be?
Long-term goals, eh? I don't know, just keep creating music and keep creating albums. The world.
Yeah.
I'd like to see, you know, just like obviously that natural progression. We're not the same group we were 5 years ago, right? And I don't think, like, if you asked me that question 5 years ago, you probably get a different answer than what's actually going on.
Right.
But that's just the reality of growing as a group. I've known these guys since I was 14 years old, 15 years old, right? That's more than half my life I've known these guys.
Right.
And I know it's whatever I tell you today, it's not going to be the answer, because there's just no
change.
These guys. But I just hope it's still going strong. You know, we're still pumping out the music, and you know, people are still enjoying it.
Great. I appreciate that, guys. Well, Altamatum, Cam, Brandon, James, thank you so much for coming on the No Cover TV podcast. I thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I'd like to see you back on in 6 months to a year, see where you're at, what's going on.
Yeah, we love that, Big Al. Thank you.
Definitely. And keep me, send me new music, anything you can, guys. I want to hear it.
Okay.
All right?
Thank you for your support. Appreciate it.
No problem. I'll get this posted on all the platforms. Tell your friends it's up there for them to check out anytime they want on YouTube. All right?
Will do.
So everybody in podcast land, thanks again for checking out the podcast. Check out the future shows, past shows. Check this show out and check Altamatum's music out. Great guys, great music. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. All right, I'm going to talk to you real soon, okay?
Okay. Bye, guys.
Thanks.
Peace.
Thanks, Al.
Yeah, bye-bye.